Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless Y&R spoilers hint that Kyle Abbott Michael Mueller betrayed Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, and now he must pay the piper. In the July 18th episode, Kyle and his former fling, Audra Charles Zulika Silver, participate in some extracurricular activity in her train car. Afterward, we expect them to sweep the whole thing under the rug. But adultery never goes without consequence on soaps. Sooner or later, the truth will catch up to Audra and Kyle. Kyle and Audra strayed. Kyle may have the most to lose, since he is out $5 million and must suffer a guilty conscience to boot. Here are 3 possible ways he winds up being punished. 1. Victor's $5 million contract. Silly. Kyle signed a contract with Victor Newman Eric Bredin, vowing to pay $5 million if he breaks Claire's heart. Kyle is well on his way to doing that, so does he have the millions required to satisfy Victor? We suspect that Victor has some hidden clauses buried in the fine print, so Kyle could suffer on multiple fronts for his fornication. Point to Kyle's guilty conscience. Kyle knows what he did, whether he confesses to it or not. That means guilt will eat away at him, slowly but surely. Once he's back in Genoa City, he'll find out that Claire's dad, Cole Howard J. Eddie Peck, died. Not only was Kyle not there to comfort her, he was being comforted over in Nice by Audra. How will Kyle cope with knowing what he's done, when Claire was, and still is, in a low point in her life? 3. Claire's angry response. Claire will eventually find out about Kyle and Audra, and when she does, she will feel even more terrible than she already does. First she loses her dad, then she loses her boyfriend. How will Claire deal with this double whammy? The minute that Kyle has to look into Claire's eyes and see the disappointment, anger, and sorrow he has caused, he will be haunted. And, if Claire decides to go berserk on him, he'll know the wrath of a woman scorned. Tell us why, and our fans. Are these 3 scenarios enough payback for Kyle, or does he deserve more for cheating on Claire? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with the Young and the Restless right now. Genoa City has seen its fair share of betrayal, heartbreak, and redemption, but few storylines are twisting the knife quite like the fallout from Kyle Abbott's betrayal of Claire Grace. Once a bright spark of possibility and reformation, Claire's entry into the Abbott orbit seemed like a sign of a fresh chapter for both her and Kyle. But betrayal doesn't come cheap in this town, and Kyle's decision to throw Claire under the proverbial bus is about to cost him dearly. Whether you're a longtime viewer or a curious fan catching up, buckle in. These are 3 tortuous ways Kyle will pay for betraying Claire, and, trust us, the price may just be his heart, his family, and possibly his future. 1. Claire's icy revenge. A queen's gambit move in a family war. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, especially one who has clawed her way back from a troubled past to earn redemption, only to be humiliated again. Kyle might have thought his decision to expose Claire was justified, a quick play to protect Harrison or score favor with the Newmans. But what he failed to consider was that Claire is no longer the insecure pawn she once was. Now under the wing of Victoria Newman, Claire has learned a thing or two about power plays, and when she learns that Kyle betrayed her trust, leaking personal information and implicating her in a scandal she had no part in, she doesn't collapse. She calculates. In true Genoa City fashion, Claire bides her time, initially appearing remorseful and understanding. Kyle, self-assured and guilt-ridden, misreads her composure as acceptance. That's when the first move hits. Claire subtly begins to turn Harrison against him. At playdates and family functions, she becomes the fun, trustworthy adult. She tells bedtime stories about loyalty and honesty, building a rapport with the child. That leaves Kyle, increasingly, on the outside looking in. Harrison, sensitive and impressionable, begins asking questions Kyle dreads. Why did you lie about Claire? The damage is subtle, but devastating. Every smile Harrison gives Claire feels like a dagger. Kyle starts unraveling, his paranoia growing. He lashes out, but no one believes him because Claire never raises her voice. She's careful, patient, and ultimately, she wins the long game, leaving Kyle isolated in the one area he thought untouchable, his bond with his son. 2. Family fallout. The Abbotts turn on their golden boy for years. Kyle Abbott has been the heir apparent. Despite his questionable choices, from scheming relationships to corporate missteps, Jack always had a soft spot for his son. But this betrayal hits differently, especially when the family begins to see Claire as more than a troubled soul. She's one of them now. Jack who has championed second chances and been burned enough to recognize sincerity, is devastated to learn Kyle acted out of spite or selfishness rather than genuine concern. Even Ashley, often a skeptic of outsiders, softens toward Claire once she sees the toll the betrayal has taken on her. When Claire finally reveals the extent of Kyle's betrayal, showing messages, recordings, or emails he never thought she'd find, Jack is blindsided. He isn't just disappointed, he's angry. He sees a reflection of a younger, colder version of himself in Kyle, and it terrifies him. The Abbotts call a family meeting the kind we all love to watch unfold in the boardroom. And for the first time, Kyle isn't the golden boy. Instead, Kyle is benched from job projects, cut off from high-level decisions, and even asked to step away temporarily. Billy, ever ready to point out hypocrisy, doesn't miss the chance to say "I told you so." Diane, Kyle's fiercest defender, tries to rally support, but even she is shaken. The mother-son bond is strained, her trust splintered, as Kyle watches Claire step gracefully into Abbott's spaces, contributing ideas, receiving praise, and even sharing inside jokes with his father. He realizes he has lost more than a reputation. He's lost his place in the family hierarchy. 3. Love lost. Love twisted. Kyle falls for Claire too late. Perhaps the cruelest punishment of all is emotional. Kyle realizes, all too late, that he loved Claire in the weeks following their fallout. As Claire reclaims her dignity and quietly excels both professionally and personally, Kyle becomes haunted by what might have been. At first, he tries to justify his actions, claiming he was protecting his family, that he didn't know the full truth. But slowly, it dawns on him, he didn't trust Claire when it mattered most, and now, she won't even look at him. Ironically, this is when Kyle becomes obsessed. He sees her at society, laughing over drinks with Summer and Mariah. He notices how effortlessly she charms Nikki and even earns Victor's wary respect, and it drives him mad. He tries to rekindle their connection, apologizing, offering explanations, but Claire, having learned from her past, refuses to fall into the same cycle. Instead, she begins dating someone new, a stable, low-drama character, perhaps Nate, or a surprising returning figure, who treats her with genuine respect. Watching her in someone else's arms is torturous for Kyle. He becomes reckless, slipping back into old patterns, drinking too much, picking fights with his family, making impulsive business decisions that only worsen his standing. He tries to sabotage Claire's new relationship, but each attempt only further alienates him from those around him. One heartbreaking moment arrives when Kyle confesses his love to Claire outside Chancellor Park, rain pouring hard on his sleeve. She listens quietly, then simply says, "You had your chance, and you threw it away." That single line guts him. He walks away knowing he's lost her for good. Not to tragedy, but to growth, hers, not his bonus twist. Claire's true power. Move forgiveness without reconciliation. The final twist in this tragic arc is unexpected. After months of ice, Claire offers Kyle forgiveness but not reconciliation. This doesn't mean a romantic reunion or even a deep friendship. Instead, she acknowledges his apology, thanks him for his honesty, and moves forward without him. It's the ultimate power move, grace without attachment. Claire rises not by revenge or cruelty but by reclaiming her narrative, refusing to be defined by the men who hurt her. She becomes a quiet force in Genoa City, perhaps taking a bigger role at Newman Enterprises or even developing a side project of her own. Kyle, meanwhile, watches from the sidelines, forever haunted by the knowledge that he destroyed something rare and real. His punishment is ongoing, not from others, but from within. The bigger picture, a morality tale in Genoa City. Kyle and Claire's saga becomes one of those defining arcs on The Young and the Restless, a lesson about trust, consequence, and timing. Kyle pays for his betrayal in the worst ways imaginable. He loses his child's unconditional love, his family's trust, and the only woman who saw the best in him even when he didn't. But perhaps, in true soap fashion, this downfall sets the stage for a redemption arc down the road, one that might take seasons to unfold. And Claire, she becomes one of Y&R's most compelling anti-heroines, a woman once broken, now bold, whose strength lies not in vengeance, but in evolution. Final thoughts: soap operas thrive on drama, betrayal, and redemption, but they're also a mirror of choices and their consequences. Kyle Abbott's betrayal of Claire Grace is a seismic event, one that will send ripples through Genoa City for months, if not years. And while Claire may walk away scarred, she walks away stronger. Kyle, on the other hand, may never fully recover from